Okay. Well, you guys ready to get started then?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
All right. Let's do it. You know, a lot of people have complained about our intro, so we're going to go with a nice short intro today. So be ready, Matt.
Okay.
Section 336, Matt, Josh, and Bert are at the games, hidden behind home plate. Let's go O's! Section 336.
19
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans. Yeah, fine. I get it. 19 seconds. Congratulations.
19 seconds. Everyone complained about 2 minutes. I went short. Next week it might be 9 seconds.
Yeah, I think people will still complain about 19 seconds. I'm the Endurance Setter, Matt Soroka. As always, I'm joined by the zany Burt Rohde.
What's up, 336ers?
And the button lever Josh Soroka.
You still got sound coming out of your computer, don't you? If you took your headphones out of your ears, you could hear me. Because we can all hear your feedback. It's all right. We can do it as long as it doesn't annoy you. I mean, the rest.
It does, but it's okay.
Okay. All right, we'll go on.
I mean, it annoys me, but I'll still do the show. I was just going to be irritated the whole show. That's fine.
You want to take a moment to figure it out? I can edit this out.
Okay. I just don't know what to do about it. Like, what would I do?
I don't know. I've never been on that side of email. Wait. So if you're hearing me out of your headphones or out of your computer? Out of the headphones or out of the computer?
Yeah, out of the headphones.
Okay. All right. Oh, you know what? Then it's probably maybe it's on Bert's end. Bert, am I coming out of the headphones or out of your computer?
Nope. The only sound is coming through my computer.
All right.
I mean, through my headphones.
From your headphones. All right. Then I don't know what's going on with Matt's audio. It's only Matt's audio, notice, that bounces back.
Is that any better right now?
No.
No, it's worse.
No, it's all right. Let's just do the podcast.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about because everything sounds perfectly crystal clear to me.
And hopefully it does to the listener and people on Facebook. I'm hearing Matt real quietly in the background. It's like Silas has learned to talk and is just repeating Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, that's adorable.
I hear that voice in my head all the time.
So, but like I said, I ripped out Mandy got me a new board for the studio for my birthday. And it was great and hooked it up. We tested it out. It was working great. We went to do the our Loop League picks, and the board crapped and didn't work. So I had to rip it apart, bypass it. So I thought I got it all working for tonight. And 2 minutes before we went on the show, I ripped it out again, and it's going back to the to B&H. It's not going to live in here because it doesn't work whenever we try to do this remote conversation, whatever this is, not Skype, but like Skype.
Right.
So that's got to go away. But at least that's a little more exciting to talk about than the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm curious to you guys' takes on this. We didn't get a chance to talk about it yet. Personally, I liked the game. I enjoyed it. I was entertained. I know a lot of people complain about being boring, but I kind of liked it. I like the low score. I like how every play matters in a low-score game. But that's just me. Bert, could you stay awake through the whole game? Your thoughts on the Super Bowl?
I did stay awake the whole game. I disagree. I think it was completely boring. You can say defenses win championships, or if they were strong defensive teams, it would be exciting to watch. But there were one turnover, 2 turnovers, maybe. Part of what makes, there was an interception too. What's his name? Jared Goff threw an interception
in the game.
But I mean, there were no special teams touchdowns, no pick sixes, nothing that sparks a little excitement in a defense-heavy game for me. It was a lot of punting, and to me, that's not exciting. That's boring. And a 13-3 Super Bowl was boring, and I was disappointed. Like I said, I didn't care who won, but I would like to see an exciting game, and it was not an exciting game. It's a forgettable game. It's another Patriots Super Bowl, and this time next year, you're going to have a hard time remembering anything from this game other than it was 13-3 and boring.
Oh wow, I could not disagree more with Bert's take right there. Josh, are you with? Are you with Bert here?
Yes, this was not a defense wins champion Super Bowl. There was no defense. No. This was good schemes on both sides to shut down the other quarterbacks. This was a Todd Gurley who has died and is not the Todd Gurley that we all know. This is a game where the excitement was that the punters, in a game of field position, the punters were getting the ball where they needed to each time. When the highlights of the game come from the punters, it's not a good game. There was a fun interception at the beginning of the game, an interception at the end of the game. That's the only defense. Some good sacks, but most part, it was not a defensive game. It was a boring game.
I agree with Josh. The punts were exciting because they did keep getting great punts, but that's not saying a lot. I'm used to saying maybe in a Ravens game that the punts were great because Ravens football is typically boring until Lamar Jackson came along. The Super Bowl, come on. I need more than great punts to keep me entertained during a Super Bowl when I have no rooting interests.
Oh, wow. Now, I agree with you guys. I thought that the special teams play was really good with the punters. I agree with you.
But only the punters. The field goalers, they were missing field goals. They weren't returning anything big. It's only the punters. Don't give it to special teams.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are holding down the popular opinion. I mean, you guys, you're not going to find many people disagree with you, but I'm one of them. I enjoy kind of the low-scoring aspects of a game. It's kind of like in baseball. Like, I appreciate a 2-3 baseball game. The reason being, if you have like an 11-12 game, someone hits a double, who cares? He'll probably score, but then you think another guy's going to score in the next inning. With the Super Bowl, every play, especially when we get to the third and fourth quarter, every play mattered. And I would argue there wasn't some exciting plays, both defensively and like the Gronkowski catch that led to the touchdown. Also some big runs there at the last drive.
If you want to compare this to a baseball game, it's not a defensive game where you have this dominant pitcher or this dominant. It's
right.
It's people going up there and everyone is hitting the ball, but they're hitting it to the first baseman who's then stepping on the bag. It's a boring game. There was no one that dominated this game.
Again, Matt, I'll agree with you in the fourth quarter. The only reason it got exciting, the only time it got exciting was in the fourth quarter when the time is running out and the game's almost over and somebody has to do something to score some points in this game. Otherwise, it's going to be a 10-3 game, and still ended up only 13-3. But still, the pass to Gronk where he gets it on the 1 yard line, you know they're going to get it in. Or when it's 4th and an inch, and they have to decide whether to make it a 10-point game or to get the first down and end the game that way. Yeah. Either way, they're winning the game. Right. So, that was it. I'll give them that.
Thank you.
But for the first 45 minutes, 55 minutes of the game, there was nothing to get excited about.
I know, and I know, you kids like the high-scoring affair, and I never said, and Josh keeps wanting to go like I'm saying the defense is great. I never said the defense is great. All I'm saying is I enjoy a low-scoring game where every single play matters. Now, whether that's because bad offense or great defense, I like a low-scoring game where every play matters because that Gronkowski catch, that's the game when it happens. And I like that. That's kind of cool. Whereas a 45-42 game, they're just running back and forth. That's kind of silly to me. So I like the low scoring. I think it is memorable because it is low scoring. And is it the best Super Bowl ever? No, obviously not. But I also I didn't think it was a boring, terrible Super Bowl either.
I think it was pretty boring and slow. And I normally like low scoring and I like defenses, but without, it just seemed like dead, like no one could do anything.
Yeah, I mean, I agree that there was very few, like, huge, exciting plays, which is something you look for those memorable catches in the Super Bowl, or memorable plays, and it lacked that kind of pizzazz. But I still enjoyed the game.
And it was a little disappointing for me because Jared Goff was one of the best quarterbacks in the NFC all season, and he couldn't do anything. He couldn't get anything going. He looked like Lamar Jackson in our divisional playoff game.
He did. It's true.
The wild card game.
And up until the fourth quarter, Tom Brady didn't look great either.
No, I agree, yeah. But he has an excuse. He's 40-some years old, and he hasn't been a superstar for at least the last few years, but he leads a good team. Whereas Jared Goff was putting up superstar numbers all year and then just completely fell off on the biggest stage.
Yeah, and Tony Romo kept pointing it out, and I don't understand it, how Julian Edelman was 10 yards open every time he caught the ball. I don't understand how that works either.
I think it's just because he's
How the guy gets
small.
so
I think it's a small guy. He can sneak up there.
Yeah, people just forgot about him.
Yeah.
He got lost.
Yeah.
Though I did
They thought
also...
he was still suspended.
Oh, I know. So congrats to the PED user, the drug user, for winning the MVP. Though, if I was in charge, I would not give him the MVP. He, in my opinion, I think he should have been in the third on the list for MVP.
What are you saying, punters? Belichick.
He's going to say the runner, Sony Michel.
Right? Can you give it to the? Can you give it to the coach for?
Yeah, that would be my first choice. I'm serious. Would be Belichick for the MVP. That would be my first choice.
This game, that's what a low-scoring game like this with no stellar play on either side of the ball tells me it's all about coaching.
And the second one is if you have such a defensive battle and you hold the team to 3 points, I think a defensive guy should get it. And so Gilmore had the interception and a bunch of pass deflects. So I would have given it to Gilmore if it was up to me after Belichick. But I get why Edelman put up a lot of stats, a lot of catches and yards. So I get it, but I think it should go to a defensive guy when you hold the other team, this powerhouse, to 3 points.
Yeah, but again, there wasn't much defensive play. It was just meh.
No. But I tell you what wasn't meh, and I think you guys agree with me this. There was some pretty darn good commercials. I jotted a few down.
Again, what are you talking about?
Impressive commercials this Super Bowl round.
You must have been really...
All right, what were some of your favorites?
Okay.
I don't know if I can remember one. They were so boring.
Are you guys serious?
I remember a lot of them.
I remember some. I don't think they were good.
Oh my gosh, I thought they were fantastic. My favorite one, I got a bunch, but my favorite one was the Olay facial recognition, like the killer face or whatever.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, at the Olay, they put on all the moisturizer, and I guess her face looked so good that it wouldn't recognize her face. At the same time, a killer was going, so she couldn't open her phone.
Oh, no.
That was early in the game. Okay, I think you guys didn't watch the game. This is why you guys didn't watch all these good commercials. I liked the on a lot of levels. I liked all the Bud Light commercials.
Got those.
Okay.
Both because I love how they went right after Miller Lite and Coors Light. I like it when people go after their opponents like this.
The corn syrup.
By name, yeah. No one knows what corn syrup is. No one even cares about it. But that doesn't matter.
Right. I thought corn syrup was in Coke. I don't know what they're talking about.
No one does.
I had no idea I was supposed to care that whether or not corn syrup was in my beer. And I never cared before, and I don't think I care now.
I don't think anyone who chooses Bud Light is choosing it for health reasons to begin with, right?
No.
It doesn't. That makes no sense. But the fact that they were going right after their opponent, and now because I think Miller Lite, Coors Light, Bud Light, to me that's it's all the same. But I'll choose the one without corn syrup from now on. I don't know what that is, but
Corn syrup.
I don't even know if corn syrup is good for you or bad for you. If you would ask me, I don't know. Is it good for you? Sure, why not? It's made of corn.
Yeah, it's corn. Isn't corn good for you?
Yeah.
No.
I would think so. Who knows?
All right, well then drink Miller Lite and Coors Light.
Okay.
The other ones I like.
I will.
I thought the Stella Artois.
That was good with the dude and Carrie Bradshaw.
That was creative.
And Sarah Jessica Parker, instead of going with her usual drink, going with Stella Artois, and then the dude Stella
Cosmo
or whatever. Yeah, I thought that was really funny.
The dude's White Russian.
Yeah.
That was clever.
What about Josh? I know you appreciated the Walmart commercial with all the cars.
I love that one.
Oh yeah,
that was my favorite.
That was creative too. I like that one.
Yeah, so all of a sudden you guys are turning around on your views of the Super Bowl. Great. I don't know. I don't know why I laughed out loud at the avocado commercial where the humans were on display as the dogs, like the human show with the avocados. I laughed out loud for that one too.
I vaguely remember that one.
Yeah, I remember it, but no laughter here.
And the best one I thought was the NFL commercial right at halftime.
That was great.
Yeah, the NFL 100. Sure, that was a fun one.
Yeah.
Good to see Ed Reed in there. Yeah.
Yeah. There was everybody.
Though I don't know how you use Ed Reed and you don't have him getting an interception or a return, and you're using him as a tackle.
Or lateral.
Right, or lateral.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, well, that was the other big news this weekend outside of the Super Bowl was Ed Reed.
Yeah, hold on.
The
You
whole
guys
thing
aren't
stuff,
going to
yeah.
you guys didn't have any commercials you loved?
I like the Bud Light mixture with HBO for Game of Thrones where they killed the Bud Knight.
I didn't really get that, to be honest. Like, what are you doing there? I don't know.
Right.
Stick with one or the other. I don't like when they morph into. What about a lot of people liked? I didn't really get this. I didn't think it was funny. A lot of people like the Jason Bateman, but I'm not a huge Jason Bateman guy.
I don't even remember seeing Jason.
Oh, that's when he goes down in the elevator and he's going down and down to like vegan lovers. Vegan lovers are very upset today about that commercial. By the way,
Wow, I didn't even see that. I like the Audi electric car. I thought that looked cool.
E-tron or something like that.
Yeah, some weird name. I thought that looked cool, and I thought the movies looked good. There were some good movie trailers. Like
I go to the bathroom during movie trailers. I'm not in for that.
and that Fast and the Furious movie actually looks pretty good. Fast and the Furious.
The Rock with Jason Statham.
Yeah, where they basically got rid of all the other people and said, "Here, let's just make one with the stars."
What's it? Calvin and Hobbes or something like that. Hobbs and Shaw.
Whatever the guy's name is. Yeah, I thought that looked cool. And then just the Marvel stuff, which I like.
Yeah, me too.
Yes, yeah. That doesn't do anything for me. I'll pass.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it does a lot for me.
Right.
Believe that.
You weren't excited to see.
I'm wearing my Marvel shirt.
You weren't excited to see like little kid Samuel L. Jackson, where they have him and he's like a 20-year-old or something in the trailer.
They've de-aged him.
Yeah, I thought that looked pretty cool.
I paid zero attention to the trailers.
That's for Captain Marvel,
Right.
where they're de-aging him. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see if that special effect can last for a whole movie and it doesn't throw you off of or look weird or anything, you know?
Yeah.
Like at what point do you forget when watching the movie that this is a computer-generated version of younger Samuel L. Jackson?
All right, Josh.
They already got my money.
Before we get to the Ed Reed talk, all right, I get that you didn't find the Super Bowl super exciting, and I don't understand how you didn't love all the commercials, but whatever. I'll allow it. Halftime show. Josh, tell me you liked the halftime show.
Well,
Yeah, right.
Shirt. I don't know. I didn't watch too much of it. I turned the volume down. I had other things to do.
What?
Like what?
Actually, I went and watched the
Busy man over there.
I went and watched the Big O and Duke's halftime.
Oh, yeah.
So I went and did that during my halftime show.
This is the biggest concert
I
of
watched
the
that
year.
through their live stream. I had it on in the background. I don't like Maroon 5. I thought they did a giant M. Could you get any more boring with your stage setup? They had what's his name, the rapper, on for about 12 seconds before he was gone. He drove in, said one line, and then he was gone.
I don't even know how to pronounce that kid's name. Is it Bua?
I think it's Boy. I think it's
Big Boy.
Boy.
Yes,
not
it
Big
is.
Boy.
Big.
Yeah.
It's Big Boy from Outkast.
Yeah, he's from Outkast. I
It's
know
Big
that.
Bua from Outkast.
No.
So,
When it comes to music, I'm going to side with me and not Bird on this one. Or you just trust me for musical stuff?
I don't understand the SpongeBob squirm guy coming.
Yeah, I
up
didn't
there.
get that.
Well, what's the point of that? At least it was like a cartoon. If you're gonna want SpongeBob in there, at least do a dancing shark type thing and put SpongeBob on the stage. I don't.
Or give
need
me
this
Sweet
little-
Victory from SpongeBob.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know either, but a
what
lot
I
of people are
don't
tweeting
know-
about it.
What I don't need is a cartoon of some squid guy saying, "Here's Maroon 5" or something. It doesn't make any sense. And then you had a marching band for about 10 seconds and a gospel choir for 10 seconds. It was all over the place. None of that matched up with Maroon 5. It didn't work. Give me Bruno Mars. Give me Justin Timberlake. Give me Beyonce. None of this stuff made sense.
Katy Perry. Bruno Mars was great a few years ago. I liked Katy Perry.
Perry might have been my favorite Super Bowl performance.
Yeah, hers was pretty great.
Recent memory, that might be my favorite.
I know Adam Levine is everywhere. He's a judge on the
Voice.
He's constantly on television. I get that. He's a popular guy, but I don't know anybody who's a Maroon 5 fan. Dude, I don't know. I mean, maybe it's for younger people, but I don't think millennials are into Maroon 5.
No, I think
Half their songs were hits 10 years ago.
Right. Maroon 5 is like what plays in the background when you're at Target. That's
Yeah, kind of.
like, I know they have Moves Like Jagger. I know that's Maroon 5. That's probably the only song I know by Maroon 5.
But they got It's Getting Harder and Harder to Breathe. That came out in 2004, at least. 14 years ago.
I didn't know who I knew Adam Levine was a judge in The Voice. I didn't realize he was in a band called Maroon 5 until I started watching the Super Bowl, to be honest.
Yeah,
but I don't really follow music all that much. All I know is, though, I go into the halftime show with no expectations, so I wasn't disappointed. I didn't think it was bad, just because I had no thoughts on the halftime show whatsoever.
Why did Kurt disappear?
Yeah, I don't know. But what I was hoping for, the only reason I even watched the halftime show is because I liked it when Katy Perry came in on a lion. And I was hoping for something like that. Or when Lady Gaga dropped down from the ceiling or whatever. I just wanted someone to do some kind of crazy stunt or something. I don't care about the music, the song, the voice. Just do something crazy.
Yeah.
Like come down from the ceiling or come in riding on a huge tiger.
Or
that stuff's
They
cool.
had all those drones that spelled out the word love. Did you see that?
No.
Yeah, but maybe if you put some little people on the drones dancing, something to add a little bit of the risk factor.
It was boring. Like the whole game, like the commercials, even the halftime show was just boring and nothing exciting for what's supposed to be the biggest concert of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I was okay with it. I went on Twitter just because I was curious to see what people were saying, because I don't know how to feel about music at all. So I just listen to what everyone else says. But people were angry about it. I'm like, dude, it's just a concert at a football game. Chill. It's not that serious. But I don't know. I'm not invested.
Overall, altogether, the game, the commercials, the halftime show, there were a few memorable spots to it. But overall, it didn't live up to the Super Bowl hype in any of those three factors, in my opinion. I'm used to an exciting night where crazy things are going to happen, exciting game, a wow factor in the halftime show, and some commercials that make you laugh out loud. Like I said, there were a couple of high points, but other than that, the overall night was kind of a dud, and I'll look forward to next year. Hopefully it's better.
Well, I think the most disappointing thing that happened was, even before the Super Bowl, the fact that St. Louis was in the game and not New Orleans. I think the game would have been a lot better if the Saints were in there. It would have been closer to Atlanta, a lot more Saints fans, and just it would have been a certainly better football game. And
you're not alone there.
I think the NFL missed out. That missed call really cost, I think, a better game and
that wasn't
more entertaining week.
Absolutely.
No.
That was the sentiment among all the people I was watching the game with, how much the first half alone would have been more exciting to see Drew Brees out there throwing some passes.
And Alvin Kamara juking some people. Yeah.
Yep.
Instead of watching Todd Gurley on a bicycle.
But it kind of fit with this whole playoffs this year. We're not exciting playoffs. There was maybe one or two exciting games, and then we got to a Super Bowl with one or two exciting plays. So I don't know. That's it. It's going to be easily forgotten, and we'll move on.
Yeah, I mean, it's memorable in the sense that how many of these does Tom Brady and Belichick have left in them? You would think not very many, but who knows the way they're... I mean, Tom Brady did this with no one on offense. So if they get a receiver in there, it's kind of impressive.
Right.
But it's not the first time. It's not the first time he's done it with nobody on offense either. There's something about him. He can carry whatever wide receivers or running backs they give him. They seem to be different every year, except for the exception of an Edelman, who still or Gronk, who can't even play a whole season. But the constant is Tom Brady's going to be in the AFC Championship every year, and more often than not, he wins the AFC Championship game and appears in the Super Bowl, regardless of who the supporting cast is.
Yeah, but I'd be curious to see if that's true going forward, because there's a changing in the guard, right? We saw it this year with Patrick Mahomes, with golf, maybe even, dare I say, Lamar Jackson. There seems to be this crop of young quarterbacks ready to push out the Flaccos, the Bradys, the Rodgers, and certainly Brady's ahead of that.
The problem with that, though, is the Buffalo Bills, the New York Jets, and the Miami Dolphins are still not going to pose a threat to the Patriots winning the AFC East again next year.
It's a joke division. Yeah.
They'll be in it again next year.
Yeah, that's true.
In the playoffs, at least, until somebody can knock them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's true. All right, want to get to some other stuff? Josh, you mentioned the Ed Reed stuff.
Right. So I think we all saw that coming, but now it's official. It took, 2 minutes and 20 seconds for them to vote on Ed Reed getting into the Hall of Fame?
Yeah.
And, I mean, that's probably just the minimum for it to go around the room and everyone say yay.
Yeah, that was a foregone conclusion, obviously.
Yeah, Ed Reed was my favorite player growing up. He's the kind of guy that, like, Ray Lewis was always great, but Ed Reed was the kind of guy who he was like the best offensive player you'll ever see on defense, right? Like,
sure.
He's the kind of guy that could, and this Ravens team that we're watching this past year, right? We talked about how good the defense is. But what they were missing is they were missing a guy who could single-handedly change the outcome of a game on defense. There's no Ed Reeds walking through the doors of M&T Bank Stadium. And it's just so exciting, Ed Reed, whether it's returning punts or whether it's taking an interception and return to the house or the laterals. And then there's all these stories about, like, my favorite one is about how he played a play wrong the entire season just so when he faced Peyton Manning, he would trick him and play the play right. And he ended up getting an interception. I don't know if that story is true or not,
right?
But it's still cool. This is what happens when you have great
players.
Mythology kind of grows out of great players. So I miss Ed Reed so much. He was so fantastic to watch. Everyone should go right now. Watch some highlights of Ed Reed. It's amazing.
And we have lots of footage, like other teams, coaches, quarterbacks. They've been asked about Ed Reed. So, like, we have players saying on the record or mic'd up on the sideline, the opposing head coach is saying, don't throw it in Reed's direction. Don't throw it in Reed's direction. And then the quarterback does, and Reed takes it to the house the opposite direction. It's really cool in real time when those things were happening while he was a player on the team, hearing how respected or feared he was by the opposing offenses, that they constantly had to know where he was and what he was doing. And if they didn't, they found out real quick where he was because it was coming right back towards them.
Yeah, and not just against like slups, but Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, right?
Sure.
He would have some fun with them, and those quarterbacks both knew and feared Ed Reed. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, seeing they were tweeting out pictures. The Ravens were tweeting out pictures of Ray Lewis in his gold blazer and Ogden in his gold blazer, and soon enough, Ed Reed is going to join them in that photo. But thinking about how special those years were, I felt like I was kind of taking it for granted looking back on it. They're three great players of that caliber are never going to be on the same Ravens team together again, let alone, especially the defense with
two on defense,
Ray Lewis, a middle linebacker, and Ed Reed playing in the secondary behind him. We'll be telling our grandkids that we got to go to those games.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, what other scenario can you have? I mean, it's incredible, and it's a testament to the Ravens for getting those guys, to Ozzie Newsome for those early drafts when the Ravens first got here. But you're right; it's hard to imagine that ever happening again. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool.
All right. Do you guys want to get to some Orioles talk?
It is pitchers and catchers report in 8 days.
Oh, boy.
Just over a week until we get to fully get into how fat is Dylan Bundy, who comes into camp with a beard, and what did Hunter Harvey do to hurt himself this time.
And do they let Chris Tillman just come just to be nice?
Chris Tillman's just fishing in the pond. We'll have pictures of him. He's not on a team, but he's fishing.
So I'm borrowing some questions from Masson Sports. It's called Pre-Spring Training Edition, 10 Questions for O's Fans by Steve Malawski. And so I wanted to
Steve,
I'm sorry, I just Molesky. I just like to have fun with his name.
All right.
Okay.
Malawski. No, it's from Steve Molesky. And so I want to get your. I think these are 10 really good questions. I want to get your takes. All right.
Okay.
Number one: Which player will make the most starts at catcher for the Orioles?
In the 2019 season?
Or
Yeah.
is this this is a season out of spring training?
No, I'm talking about the season. So you have
Austin wins.
You have Austin Wins. You have the new guy, Jesus Sakura or something.
Yeah, and he's supposed to be like a veteran.
Yeah, he's like your Caleb Joseph.
Right. Or
Is
apparently a
Francisco a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, Chance Cisco is on the 40-man. I think Austin Wins right now. If you penciled in like the starters, it would be Austin Wins, then Chance Cisco, then Jesus Sakura. I think is how the depth chart would look right now. I think.
I'll go with that.
So you say Austin Wins with the most starts?
Sure. What you said.
Right. I think that's what I went with too.
All right, I would actually go with Chance Cisco getting the most starts. I think Austin Wins will be
change it up on me.
No, I said right now that's what the depth chart will look like, and I think Austin Wins will start the season. But I think at some point Chance Cisco takes over at the start as the starting catcher.
I would like to see that happen.
The way Chance Cisco played last year, who knows? Probably
he's got to turn something around, but I would like to see him turn it around. I mean, that's what he's here for.
Yeah. Number 2, which player will make the most starts as a leadoff hitter?
I would say Cedric Mullins, right? Is that the dumb answer?
I mean, that's the only one that kind of makes sense. Other than that, we don't really know, guys.
Some other options could be Jonathan VR, Trey Mancini, perhaps.
We don't know how Brandon Hyde, like, how much he adjusts his lineup. If he's like Buck, where he's going to choose one lineup and just ride it. We don't really know. This year is such an experiment that I don't think even picking like a guy like Cedric Mullins is a clear pick.
Yeah, I mean, did they or did they not say something at FanFest about how speed is going to be something this team hasn't had before, but they're going to make that more of an issue? Like this is a regime taking over for a franchise that literally stole like less than 10 bases last year or 20. I mean, they're not a base stealing team. So if they were to put somebody in the leadoff spot, does that all of a sudden mean that we're, going to be more of a stealing team? I don't know. I would like to see that happen, but I think whoever's batting leadoff might help show us that could be a direction they're headed.
All right. I think Trey Mancini is the answer I'm going with.
Okay.
Number 3, who will make more O's starts this year, Austin Hayes or DJ Stewart?
I'm going to say DJ Stewart.
And I'm going to say Austin Hayes. Just because we've seen Austin Hayes come up to the majors. We haven't seen DJ Stewart yet. So.
Yes, we have.
Yeah, he was up the majors.
He played last year.
All right, he was up for a week.
No, he was up for more than a week. I was there the day he hit his first home run.
All right, fine.
That's why I'm picking my friend of the show, DJ Stewart.
It all depends if we got to keep Trey Mancini in the outfield or if we find a way to get Trey into first base.
Yeah, I would say that DJ Stewart has a better chance of being on the opening day roster just because Austin Hayes' injuries last year. So I think you want to see, is Austin Hayes fully recovered from all his injuries, and does he still have it? So I imagine DJ Stewart would start the season and would get more playing time in the beginning of the season, and then kind of depending on how Austin Hayes plays in the minors will determine how fast he comes up. But the head start, I think, will go to DJ Stewart. So that's why I would say DJ Stewart. Next question. Over under Chris Davis home runs, 25.
I'll go against my gut and try and be positive and say over.
All right, Josh. Over under Chris Davis, 25 home runs.
Oh, over. I think Chris Davis has a bounce back year.
Okay. I say under.
I don't know what we do if he doesn't, so I'm going to say over.
I tell you what, we're not going to do if he doesn't. I don't think Brandon Hyde's going to still stick him in the 5 hole for the entire season if he doesn't. I think if he's off to a rough start, he hits the pine, and that's why I'm saying under 25 home runs.
I think we have serious conversations about Chris Davis retiring if he doesn't turn it around this year.
And, retiring?
Retiring.
And, not taking the money? or like cutting him?
No, like he retires. Does he still get paid? I think he still gets paid. I don't know how that'll work.
Is that like one of those A-Rod retirements where they just give him a job, a quote-unquote job, so they don't have to play him anymore, but he still gets paid?
I mean, I just look at when you're trying to do this rebuild thing. At what point is Chris Davis on your just having a slot on your bench just a waste? And maybe it is a cut. But it could also be I am so embarrassed by what I'm performing that I am retiring.
Yeah, that's what happened with A-Rod. Like, he was a drain on that team at the end for the Yankees. He wasn't any good, but they were still having to pay him, so they were still having to play him, and they came up with a creative way of just getting rid of him. I don't think he wanted to retire. You know, he gave that press conference, A-Rod did, you know, where you could tell in his face, like, they're kind of making me do this.
Yeah.
I don't really want to do it, but I have to do it.
I don't know.
Because he was saying, I want to retire, as he shook his head.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. It was very similar to the I'm not taking steroids conversations he had. I don't know. I just look at Chris Davis and him saying, like, how last year it was an embarrassment. It won't happen again. How he was worn out by the end of the season from the whole stress of this, and how I can't go through that again. And I just see that, and I'm like, if you don't turn it around, what does this mean? I try to put myself in Chris Davis's shoes and imagine if I sucked at my job for a whole year straight, and then I came back and I still sucked and couldn't do it. What do I do? I don't know.
Well, I think a difference between the A-Rod situation and Chris Davis situation is the Yankees were trying to win at the time, and so they were trying to push him out. The Orioles really aren't trying to win right now, and so. But Josh, don't you trust all the sabermetric magic? Chris Davis is going to have a lot more information than he did before.
I do. That's why I said more than 25 home runs, because I truly believe Chris Davis pulls it out and turns it around this season. It's just that what if that I think through and try to process. Like, I don't know. I think we went into last season so positive and things went so bad that even if I'm a little bit positive this season, I've got to think through that, well, what if? Because the what ifs, every single what if swung in a negative way last year.
Yeah, I guess the good news is, I don't know, like maybe I was going to say that we don't have any high first base prospects, but that's not true because in the majors we have Trumbo and Mancini.
Right.
And Chris Davis. So there is kind of a backlog at that first base spot.
And we've got extra outfielders that could get playing time if we can move Trey Mancini out of the outfield.
Yeah, but I think if you figure out a way to move Mark Trumbo, then you have first base DH, Trey Mancini, Chris Davis, and you just plug them there for the next couple of years, and they're not blocking anyone's spots.
Yeah.
Sure. As long as Davis is not, like, just dead. If Davis can hit the ball, great.
But even if he's dead, like even if you just roll out his corpse to stand at the plate and just watch strike three all over and over again, who cares?
I get the who cares, except for him taking up the slot. But I guess if you're putting him then in like DH position,
yeah,
let Trey get his reps at first. Sure, you can do it for a year. I don't.
Yeah, and then next offseason we'll reevaluate if we want to use the corpse of Chris Davis again another year.
I don't know. Yeah, the nice thing for Davis is a whole new staff coming in. You can say more sabermetrics, but it's just more people to look at him to help him. Hopefully, it's a fresh start for Chris Davis.
Hey, you know, if Chris Davis didn't sign that huge deal, if he just signed like a 1 or 2 year, 3 year deal, he would be out of baseball right now.
Yeah,
he would.
Yeah, he wouldn't have. I mean, yeah, there's good baseball players right now without teams.
He would be maybe getting a minor league contract with an invitation to show up at the roster.
Right.
I mean, that's the best he would do.
Nolan Reimold.
Yeah. So good for him for signing a contract when he did. Good for him. I'm gonna skip 5 and 6 because they're dumb questions. Number 7. Which team do you think will sign Manny Machado?
Padres. I think.
Ooh,
I don't think
going with the dark horse.
Yeah, I think when you look at Phillies are making a case. I don't think the Yankees are, and I look at Manny's gonna want to be out in California. He's already been out there with L.A. San Diego's not too far, I think. So why not just stick around with the Padres? The Padres are an up-and-coming team. I could see that.
Is the White Sox deal still floating out there?
That's still an open possibility.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold with the White Sox. That's who I still think he'll go to. In my opinion.
It's crazy. It's February and the two best players still haven't signed. Like, this is messed up.
Right. We're like weeks away from spring training.
Hey, can I say something dumb?
Yep.
Yeah.
If I was Mike Elias
time tonight.
If I was Mike Elias, I would call Manny Machado's agent and give him a 10-year, $300 million contract. Because if you think about it, if we want to compete in 3 years, what, it'd be 29 in 3 years? Still in the prime of his career. You got this shortstop / third base position on lockdown, and that's one less thing to worry about. It's so hard to find a good shortstop. Let's worry about the rest of the positions. And in 3 years, when we're ready to really compete, we'll have our 3-hitter shortstop, Manny Machado, on the team. For the next, at that point, between 29, he can still play at the high level for 5 more years. Is that completely dumb to say?
I don't think it's that dumb, but I don't think Manny Machado is signing up for a team that is going to be at the bottom of the standings for the next 3 to 4 years. I think he wants to go to a team that's going to compete.
Do you think Machado's getting $300 million?
That's what I'm saying.
I don't think he is.
Because teams are being so stingy. So what if you came over the top and said, hey, here's $300 million? That's not that much.
No, it's not. And when you look at
as far as total team payroll,
we've talked about multiple times throughout the season about how if the Orioles wanted to, they could afford Machado.
Well, someone posted that, and I forget who posted this on Twitter, but that the Orioles could sign this year Manny Machado and Bryce Harper for $30 million a year, and still their salary would be lower than it was last year.
Right. Yeah. Sure.
Interesting.
I mean, you then have no other players on the team to play with them, but yes. But
yeah, you got to develop them. Yeah.
Right.
Even with that team, we would still lose close to 100 games.
Right. This is like the This is like the NBA where you're like, well, if I sign LeBron, I don't need anyone else on the team.
Right.
It doesn't quite work that way in baseball. So,
still
but
need some pitchers.
It'd be very interesting to see how much of an impact can the top 2 guys in the game right now make on one team together with no one else. Can they move it around? It'd be a fun watch. But then I do remember that we had Manny Machado last year for most of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
But if you're circling 2021 as your year to compete, Manny Machado could be a part of that. But you would just waste the $90 million from now till 2021 that you have to pay him to get to that point. I don't know. It's stupid. It's not going to happen. But
many people would say it's worth wasting $90 million for a World Series. People
and
a whole lot more.
And when are you going to get another opportunity to sign a guy like Manny Machado? I don't know. But it's probably stupid, but
Manny's getting a 5-year deal at most, I think.
Oh, really?
That's what my guess would be. I don't think. Which I also don't understand why, as a player as good as Manny, you would want to sign a 10-year deal. I get that for Chris Davis it worked out, but there's no way Manny Machado is turning into Chris Davis.
Yeah. I agree. If I'm Manny Machado, if I was a pitcher, I would go for all the years in the world because their arms always fall off. But if I was Manny Machado, I know I had 2 bio knees that weren't breaking. I would do the 3-year, give me 3 years for $100 million.
Yeah.
And let me do that 3 times.
And that's isn't 3 years the next bargaining agreement?
Oh, is it? Yeah, so that's perfect.
And then stuff is going to change again anyway, yeah.
And then people assume that the players will have more of the cut, right? Then owners won't be stealing all the players' money like they are now.
Yeah. Players will go on strike again in a couple of years, and then players will get more money.
I'm sick of these greedy owners. Hey, the Orioles' payroll gets cut down to what it is. That means the Orioles will have extra money they're not spending on players. What happens to that extra money?
We build a stadium in Latin America. We
Our budget's going to be
Hire
like
some
$80 million
analytical-
less.
We hire some analytical people. We hire a podcast to come do shows. I don't know.
No, I tell you what happens.
You're going to spend all that same money, but you're spending it in the warehouse. You're buying some new bats for Chris Davis.
No, you're buying your 8th home in Beverly Hills for the Angelos boys to hang out on the weekend.
Money's still getting spent on the team.
It's going in somebody's pocket.
Wi-Fi in the stadium?
Yeah, tell me when that happens.
I think they've announced that for this year.
Okay, what question are we on? Shoot, I just asked about Manny Machado. Oh, and by the way, I don't know if my opinion on this is, I think Bryce Harper will sign with the Phillies, and if he does, then Manny will sign, I think, with the White Sox. Though I'm interested with the argument that the Phillies don't want Bryce Harper because they're saving their money for Mike Trout, which I think is a funny storyline. Question number... Yeah, go ahead.
I'd rather have Mike Trout. I'd take Mike Trout.
Of course.
Yeah, but you have to wait, 2 or 3 years for that to happen.
Right.
Number 8.
The Orioles are going to need someone.
That's true. Which Oriole or Orioles will play in the 2019 All-Star game? You got to have at least
Orioles
one.
plural?
Alex Cobb?
No way.
That's
It's not.
good pick.
No chance it's going to be a pitcher. Alex Cobb would need to have astounding starting pitching numbers for him to get
They hide
invited.
pitchers all the time. All right.
Doesn't matter. There's no way an Orioles pitcher.
It might be
Unless it's a reliever.
It might be Trey's year. Not necessarily. Whoever goes for the Orioles isn't going to earn their way there. They're going to get the Ty Wigginton pick.
The sympathy pick.
Yes.
Right. So I'd say maybe Trey, maybe Cedric. Don't know.
Jonathan VR.
I don't even. Who's left in the pen? Anyone in there?
Maybe a Michael Gibbons.
Michael Gibbons.
Scott would be interesting if he can get some control this season.
Yeah. I think Jonathan VR would be my guess, and I think Michael Gibbons is a good kind of backup. Which Oriole player is most likely to be traded at the deadline? Number 9.
Oh, well, that's Alex Cobb. I mean,
I would say Michael Gibbons.
I see Gibbons, but Cobb's more of a guy who's not in your rebuild. I could see you saying we can keep Gibbons long term. Cobb's not a guy who's going to be here.
You saying at the trade deadline or just traded before the deadline?
Trumbo
Before the deadline.
Answer.
That's what I was going to say. Trumbo. I was going to say Trumbo because I could see Trumbo coming out and putting up decent power numbers as long as he stays healthy, and then some other team might take him up that is in need of like a DH or something.
Yeah, and we'll just give him away for he's a classic player to be named later.
Sure.
Or cash considerations.
International signing, international money that we won't spend.
Any chance that Dylan Bundy's the guy that gets traded? That he gets traded at the deadline? I mean, he's running out of years of arbitration here.
I would have said no, but I also said no to Kevin Gaussman. I think we would
it's a
build
similar
around
case.
Kevin Gaussman, and we traded him for crap. So, we might. If it's longer than 3 years, we're going to trade Dylan Bundy.
Yeah, Mike Elias has to decide, right? Is Dylan Bundy a part of the future?
Right. And Dylan Bundy was not a Mike Elias guy, so you got to look at, not that we have these huge prospects in the wings, but you got to take a look at what type of starting pitching do we have in that top 20 slots.
Yeah. And so if you want to compete in 4 years, let's say, you either have to re-sign Dylan Bundy for kind of the second half of his career, or continue to go younger. So that could be an interesting one.
Or you buy the arms.
No, the last question. This is dumb, but I'll ask it anyway. Number 10, which Rule 5 pick, Richie Martin or Drew Jackson, has the best chance to be with the club on opening day?
Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Yeah. I mean, I guess maybe Richie Martin because he was drafted first in the Rule 5 draft, so maybe they thought he was better than Drew Jackson, who I think was like 5th or something.
What about just another question to throw out there that wasn't in the article?
Yeah.
Number one overall pick, is Bobby Witt Jr. a foregone conclusion, or is there something else we're looking at there?
Yeah, there's another guy, catcher. What's his name? Who has emerged, not just emerged, but over the past couple months emerged as another possibility for that number one pick. So I think it's still an open question now. Is Bobby Witt the guy?
Sure. That'll be something to keep an eye on and when that draft comes around in the middle of the season.
I think they go for a pitcher.
Got a pitcher last draft.
Yeah.
Number one. But
yeah, I don't think they're going to go with the pitcher because they're going to go with one of the top two guys. They're going to go with this guy, Aldi Rushman, who's a catcher, or they're going to go with Bobby Witt Jr.
Right.
I'm looking right now at the top. I'm looking at the top prospects for the coming draft, and the top six are position players. So I assume they'll take from those top six of position players and not go for a pitcher. But what do I know?
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's Michael Elias's. That's supposed to be Michael Elias's kind of forte, right?
And when is the draft? It should be coming up, right?
June.
No, it's in
June.
It's in the middle of the season. Yeah. I would like to see drafting a position player more than a pitcher, only because I don't know if this is true or not, but just from my own point of view, position players may tend to move up in the ranks a little quicker than a pitcher will, especially someone taken so young, just coming out of high school or something. But, like even Hunter Harvey's we drafted him 4 or 5 years ago, and he still just made a bullpen appearance sitting in the bullpen, didn't even pitch. Whereas guys like Scope or Machado or any of those position players we draft, if they're good, they're going to move up a lot quicker than a pitcher will. Maybe. Of course, then there was Kevin Gausman. Gausman came up pretty quick, but he had college under his belt.
He was a college arm, yeah.
Bundy came up real fast but got hurt as well.
Yeah, I think the big factor is pitchers are more susceptible and have a higher risk of injury, right? And that's really what can slow down their journey to the majors.
Right. I was trying to think, and the real truth comes down to I don't know if the Orioles minor leagues are better at producing fielders or pitchers, or position players, pitchers. They seem to be okay with bats, but then the guys can't play the field. I don't know what we do good in our farm system for what to root for.
Well, so far from what we've seen, I think it's pretty obvious the farm system is better at producing position players than pitchers.
Is it? Why? Because Scope and Machado?
Who have we produced?
Who have we produced on the infield? Machado
and Scope. That's 2-0 so far.
You could argue Trey Mancini, too.
And
you could argue we have a crop.
Fine. Pitchers,
we could argue have a crop of outfielders ready to go, in Austin Hayes and DJ Stewart kind of on the cusp.
Pitchers would be Gausman and Bundy and Britton.
The best closer in the history of baseball, but Zach Britton.
Givens. Didn't we develop Givens?
He was a shortstop. We drafted him as a shortstop, turned him into a pitcher, and developed him.
That's true. Yeah. So I don't.
We're good at relievers. That's our forte, relievers.
I was looking up. Yeah, I don't know. I was looking up another friend of the show, Alex Murphy, to try to see where's he at on this development. And he's listed as he's not like a top prospect, but he's this other hidden prospect that might be able to make moves. But he's still in high single A, and he's been with the Orioles for 5 years. It takes a while to get through these minors.
Unless you're a superstar.
It does.
You're a superstar. Right. And that's the thing is, there's no one in our organization, and Bobby Witt Jr. as well. None of these guys are Manny Machado.
Well, and that's why everyone says it's going to be 3 or 4 years, right? Because you have to imagine from the time they draft him, even that, if you draft Bobby Witt Jr., he's 19?
He's not. Yeah. Machado was 3 years till he came up, right?
And that was, I think it was 3 years. And he was exceptional. Yeah.
Right. You're talking 3 years. If you're serious about winning in 3 years, it's with guys who are in the farm system now.
Absolutely. It has to be.
You're looking,
Bobby Witt Jr. might be your September call-up in 2022.
Right. He's a guy who might get a spring invite, but a dark horse.
Yeah. So, and Michael Elias said that all the time, right? He said that he likes some people in this farm system.
Right. He just has to let us know how many or who.
Though, don't tell that to Keith Law, who ranked the Orioles farm system as last.
Did he rank it last?
That's
we
what
were
I
in the
saw.
middle.
Most like Fangraphs has us like 20, but Keith Law, Oriole hater, had us last.
Known hater.
He's an Oriole hater.
Known Oriole hater.
Oh yeah, he's a known Oriole hater. He has the beef goes way back with him.
You see that news guy in Pittsburgh who got fired because under the Tom Brady thing, he had when they were doing their report on the Super Bowl, underneath it said Tom Brady, known cheater.
Really?
So they fired him.
I liked all the speculation of when Sean Payton was being interviewed at the Super Bowl. Did he have a Goodell clown shirt on underneath his polo?
Oh,
because you know that Goodell clown shirt.
Yeah, I think he was wearing the Barstool shirt.
Yeah, the Barstool. Well, that was the big debate because it looked like it. I guess
he did. I think
he didn't take his polo shirt off to show everybody, but it looked like it.
I think he was. I think he knew what he was doing.
I agree.
I'm tired of the Barstool guys.
Barstool guys. I like to call them the Barstool thugs.
I'm tired. I'm tired of let's sneak in without press passes and go get news coverage, and it'll just be a laugh. When if a normal person does that, if we sneak into the Super Bowl, it's not like it's a big deal. So
yeah, I don't really get it. They remind me of some of my high schoolers,
right?
But they're like grown men, so I don't really get it.
They're grown men acting very immature, and yet also want to be treated as reporters and given the access of reporters.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
Get it. I blocked them on Twitter like 2 years ago because I didn't get them 2 years ago. I still don't get them now. Oh no, actually, I do get them, and that's why I blocked them because I do get what they're about, and they're not about what I'm about. So
right, I get it.
Yeah. All right. That was good. We covered some ground, boys. We covered Super Bowl. We talked about the awesome commercials. Talked about Ed Reed Hall of Fame. Got some Orioles talk. It was a full show here. I'm worn out.
Yeah.
Not bad for a Monday night in February.
Yeah, next week we'll get into some more Orioles talk.
Yeah, this starts it. This is the Oriole push. So tell your friends. Get excited for at least the next 3 years of Oriole baseball. We're going to be talking a lot of Orioles and a lot of prospects. We've got to get to know these young guys.
Yeah, there's a lot of new names to talk about. That's going to be big parts of the future Orioles.
Yep.
And we'll have all that covered for you here on Section 336.
Sounds good.
Like us on Facebook, iTunes, leave us a review, all that good stuff. You can follow me on Twitter.
Yeah. Do one of those things because you totally disappointed us in the Loop League picks.
Oh my gosh, we didn't talk about Loop League, but I totally crushed it.
You did.
I destroyed everyone. It wasn't even close.
But very, very disappointed in our listeners not signing up for that. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
They just disappointed me.
Oh, you guys were a bunch of strawberries. But I just bet the under on everything, and that was a good move for me.
That was good.
Yeah,
I stupidly. Yeah, I picked for an exciting outcome and got the complete opposite.
I picked 72 total
Not
points.
me.
Not 9 or whatever it was.
Anyway, follow us on Twitter. You can follow the show at Section 336 Show. You can follow me at Section 336. You can follow Josh
At Josh Soroka.
And you follow Bert
At Bert Rohde.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls. And as always, go O's.
Thank you for listening to the Section 336 podcast. Please go to iTunes and Facebook for all complaints or the occasional compliment. If I were you, I would not take any baseball advice from these guys. Josh and Matt were raised by an Orioles-obsessed father, and Bert fell in love with Don Mattingly. He has a thing for mustaches.